Hey everyone, NATO here. I am at the state capitol in Des Moines, Iowa. We just finished up with the convention, the Republican convention here in the state of Iowa, selecting who our candidates are going to be for the November 2018 election officially. It was a pretty packed house. It's hot here in Iowa. It's in the 90s Fahrenheit, so that's quite a temperature here in Iowa, and that's why I'm not wearing the suit jacket, just the white shirt and tie. Big day today for the Iowa Democratic and Iowa Republican parties. They both had their conventions today. From what I understand, the Democrats also had a pretty big turnout. So I like to see that with Iowa. I like the fact that there's a huge turnout for these events because it shows that people in Iowa are engaged. And it's really important to me to see that political engagement in Iowa stays high, because that's the only way we're going to get really, really good candidates on either side. And it also helps sometimes bring in more centrist candidates, which allow for sometimes a better dialogue and better legislation. So I am all for engagement, both left and right, because that's the whole point. Kim Reynolds did a great speech today. I'm actually going to upload her speech onto this channel and onto all my social media. I can't say enough good things about Kim Reynolds, because if you just really meet her and get to see her on a one-to-one level, I don't know how anyone could not support her. I don't know how anyone could not vote for her, because she is just that great of a candidate. She's that great of a person. And I think that Iowa as a whole is just going to be way better off with someone like Kim Reynolds. She's just really that person that represents Iowa as Iowa really is as a whole. I have nothing against Fred Hubbell. I think he's probably a pretty nice guy on a personal level. It's just that I have a problem with his ability to be, able to really connect with a majority of Iowa, because he is. I have nothing wrong with rich people. I have nothing against rich people. I hang out with rich people all the time. I do find that sometimes they are out of touch. Not always, but sometimes they are out of touch with certain things. Now, there are people like Donald Trump who seem to be really into everybody, and so he's not really just within the rich people. And if you really have ever met Donald Trump before his political career, you will see that his behavior is not such like that of most other rich people. In fact, a lot of other rich people in New York City don't like Donald Trump just because he doesn't participate in their games, really. He's a much different type of rich person. He's not unique in that fact. There are other rich people like him. It's just that there's not many of them. And Fred Hubbell really hasn't given me the vibe that he's the type of rich person that has a common man's type of demeanor and common man's type of attitude towards things. He's more of an ideologue, and that's a problem. Ideologues are always going to be a problem, and especially at the head of government. Now, ideologues at certain party corners, you're going to have them. They play their role. So if Fred Hubbell wanted to run for a state Senate seat, I believe Nate Bolton's seat's going to be open. Maybe he can move to that area of Des Moines and run in that area. I would probably support his move for that, because there's a room for everyone in legislature. But Kim Reynolds is really knocked it out of the park today. I'm really proud of her as a candidate and as the governor of Iowa. I met a lot of the other prospective state senators and House Assembly people, and I'm really impressed with what's coming through on at least the Republican side. I know a few of the Democrats that are running. I think there are also, some of them are very, very talented and qualified people, and I hope just that the best person wins. I would prefer a majority for the Republicans in both the House and the Senate for the state Iowa legislature, and for the federal legislature, and for the New York legislature, and really everywhere. It's not realistic, but I can always hope. But I'm really impressed with a lot of the state people running for state offices, and I just think it's a really exciting time, and I'm really, again, proud that Iowa is participating. It has such a high participation rate for this, much like with our people who sign up for our armed services. Iowa is 7%, while nationally it's under 1%. So that just, again, Iowa's engaged, and that's why I think Iowa is important, and I think that's why Iowa is, being first really can set off a good gauge for how a candidate is compared to the rest of the field. And I hope Iowa keeps this momentum going. I want to see a huge turnout in Iowa in November. I have full confidence that no matter what Fred Hubbell throws at us, Tim Reynolds is going to continue to be the governor of the state of Iowa. We should all hope anyway. And like I said, I have nothing wrong with David Loebsack in Iowa 2nd District. He's a good person. My mom has some problems with him. They've had some arguments and good fun, I think. But I have no problem against David Loebsack. He's a nice guy. I can't say anything bad about him. But the Dr. Peterson, who's running for Congress District 2 for Iowa, is really the guy we need right now for District 2. He's really the guy we need for improved medical insurance legislation, health care. David Loebsack was an educator, and I have nothing wrong with academics. I've been in academia for a long time. It's just Dr. Peters he's just the guy. And I'm really going to throw all my support behind him in Iowa District 2 for the House of Representatives. And when it comes to District 1, it's Rod all the way. There's no doubt about it. This guy is the most efficient member of the House, I think, anyway. I don't think there is another member that is more fiscally responsible and efficient with his funds than Iowa District 1. District number 4, Steve King is the guy who's going to win. I don't think there's anyone who could depose Steve King in Iowa 4. And you know what? For what people send him there for, he's doing a good job for what those people want. I'm not going to get into what people have to say about him. He's doing what his electorates want him to do, what people who put him there want him to do. And I'm always going to support a member of Congress who's fulfilling his promises in his office for what people sent him there to do. And I think this has to be my personal favorite. My personal favorite for the Iowa House of Representatives at the federal level is Iowa 3, David Young. He is one of the friendliest guys you'll ever meet. His staff is absolutely brilliant. Along with the District 1, the District 1 staff is also very, very, very good. District 1 and District 3 really lucked out on the congressional staff in both D.C. and locally. I've interacted with the staff on both District 4 and District 2, but not nearly as much. I just haven't had as much interaction with them. But David Young is probably, bar none, the member of the House that everyone else wishes they had. That's how great of a guy this David Young is. And how he doesn't have 100% approval rate, I'll never know. Go vote. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, David Young is your guy. I'm sure the Democrats have a really nice person running against him, but I don't know how, it'd be almost impossible to find someone who is this entwined, this engaged with District 3 than David Young. David Young's your guy, Republican or Democrat, Republican, the conservative, liberal, whatever. David Young is the best possible choice for District 3. And, if my guy doesn't win District 2, and I can't get my state senator, Amy Sinclair, to run for District 2, then I'm going to really push for the county that my family lives in Iowa to move from District 2 to District 3, because that's how great David Young is. And it's always a great time when you see Joni Ernst in town. Joni Ernst is one of the two senators. She's the junior senator for Iowa, and she is absolutely fantastic. The fact we have Kim Reynolds and Joni Ernst in the positions they do shows that Iowa actually is the true progressive state, and that Iowa values, regardless if they're conservative or liberal, are good values or wholesome values. They're values that other states and other groups of people should aspire to have. That's just how great the state of Iowa is. That's why we're #1 in almost everything. We're in the top 10 in almost everything. It's just because Iowa is that awesome of a state. I've lived in other states. I've lived in North Dakota. I've lived in New York. I've spent a lot of time in Kansas. I spent a lot of time down south. I've walked across the whole state of Virginia. Spent a lot of time in D.C. I've been out west, California, Washington, Oregon, time in Nevada. I've been all over this country. But it's just that the state of Iowa has this really great aspect to it about its people, its citizenry, its engagement into absolutely every level of everything. And if you just come to Iowa, meet these people. If people would come and visit Iowa and spend some time in our cities like Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Davenport, Sioux City, Council Bluffs, you're gonna want to move here. There's so much growth here. There's so much excitement here in Iowa. I think if you'd come and just spend some time here and even go into some of our rural areas like Davis County, Appanoose County, get counties like Osceola. You go to counties like Clark County, Cass County, Winnebago County. If you want an RV, Winnebago County, Henry County, Hart. It's just a great place. Iowa across the board is just a great place. And I think everyone should come and hang out here, especially during an election, a presidential election cycle. You're gonna meet everybody who knows anything about everybody. It's just the greatest place to be, and I'm really grateful and an honor to be a part of this. It's really grateful and an honor that I get to participate in the elections in 4 districts in Iowa, the governor's race, that I get to meet and talk to all the members that are running for office. I don't know any other state where your elected officials are so easily accessible. Like I said, I've spent time in New York, a lot of time in New York, and it's not that easy. Meeting your representatives in New York is very, very hard. I don't know why it's so different. It just is. And I really like to change that aspect of New York, and I am working on that. I have been in contact with the mayor's office in New York City on a couple of things, and they have addressed my issues. And I'm going to be meeting with De Blasio very shortly on some things that I just don't think the city understands the problems, some of the intricate problems, the detailed problems that people are having in New York. That they've come to me and said, this is my problem. I don't understand why they don't understand this problem. So I'm going to work on that. So New York City. I'll be your way very soon to work with those issues, but it's really nice here in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm going to go enjoy this. I'm going to do a quick kind of walk around. So you turn around or whatever you want to call this. You can kind of see the blue skies for days here in Iowa, the 29th state to the Union. All right, guys, until next time, I want to thank you all very much for coming out today. Go enjoy the weather. If it's nice, if it's not so nice, well, enjoy your time anyway. Peace out.